In this video, we're going to be going over how to solve equations with distributive property. So I have a few examples here. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, we've got 2 times the quantity of x minus 5 equals 38. So whenever you have these sets of parentheses with 2 different unlike terms inside that are being added or subtracted from each other, then what we can do is take whatever number is outside and distribute that to the 2 terms that are inside the parentheses. So we're going to take this 2 and multiply it times each of these terms that are inside the parentheses. So when we multiply 2 times x, we get 2x. And when we multiply 2 times negative 5, we're going to consider this like a negative. 2 times negative 5, that's going to give us negative 10. And then that equals 38. Okay, so now we have the equation 2x minus 10 equals 38. Now we're just following that backwards order of operations to undo all of those operations until we get the variable isolated by itself on one side of the equation. So in order to do that, we are going to first start off with adding 10. Adding 10, that's going to cancel out that 10 right there. That leaves us with 2x equals 48. And then our last step is going to be to divide by 2, and x equals 24. Now it's a good idea to check your solutions, so I'm going to go ahead and take that 24 and substitute it into my original equation and make sure that everything works out. So I'm just substituting in that 24 where the x was, and then writing everything else in. Now we're just going to use order of operations to solve. So 24 minus 5, we're using order of operations, so parentheses first. 24 minus 5 gives us 19. So then that means we got 2 times 19 equals 38. And then 2 times 19 does equal 38. We can go ahead and write that out to the side here. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So 38 equals 38. So that way we know that our solution of 24 is correct. So that is our solution there. All right, let's go on to the second one. In this one, we do have those 2 terms that are being subtracted inside the parentheses, but this time the number that is being multiplied times that quantity is over on the right. However, the rules are still the same. We're going to take that 3 and multiply it, distribute it to both of these terms inside the parentheses. So 3 times 5 is 15, minus 3 times 2x is 6x. So I've just carried that negative down with that minus sign down. We can also look at this as 3 times negative 2x gives us negative 6x. And then that equals 33. All right, so now we are going to drop our line down the middle and solve. We want to get rid of this 15 first, right? Because the 15 is a constant term, so we want to undo that positive 15 by subtracting 15. Don't let that negative sign right there fool you. That minus sign or negative sign goes with the 6x, not with the 15. The 15 is positive. So in order to cancel it out to 0, we need to subtract 15. So that is going to give us negative 6x equals, and then 33 minus 15 would give us 18. All right, now our last step is to divide by that negative 6, divide by that negative 6, and then x is going to equal negative 3. Okay, and for the sake of time, I did go ahead and check this. You can pause the video if you like to check out my work here, but I substituted in that negative 3 into our original equation, and it did come out to be correct. So x equals negative 3 is the correct solution for this equation. Let's go on to the next problem. So here we have 15 minus 4 times the quantity of 7 plus 8x equals 51. So with this problem, we are going to distribute that 4, but don't forget that you're going to carry along any sign that is in front. Because we are subtracting 4 times this quantity, we want to carry that negative along with us. So we are actually going to be multiplying negative 4 times each of these terms. All right, so let's see what that gives us. I'm going to go ahead and drop down my 15. Negative 4 times 7 gives us negative 28. Negative 4 times positive 8x gives us negative 32x. And then that equals 51. All right, so now it looks like we have some like terms that we can go ahead and combine. We can combine our 15 minus 28, which gives us negative 13. And then let's just drop everything else down. And then we can start solving. So let's go ahead and drop our line down through here. We're going to go ahead and add 13 to both sides of the equation to cancel that negative 13 out. And that leaves us with negative 32x equals, let's see, that gives us 64. All right, and then our last step is to divide by negative 32. Divide by negative 32. That's going to cancel out that coefficient there. And then x equals 64 divided by negative 32. That's going to give us negative 2. Okay, so again, I went through and checked my work here with our solution of negative 2, plugged it into that original equation. You can pause the video, check out my work here, but we do get the same answer on each side. So x equals negative 2 is a correct solution for us. Let's try our last problem. Okay, in this one, this part right here tends to trick some of the students that I work with. This is 13 minus the quantity of 3x minus 5 equals 21. So remember that when we don't see a coefficient here, because this is being subtracted away, we can consider this as if we are subtracting 1 times the quantity of 3x minus 5. Either way that you look at it, we need to distribute that negative 1 or that negative to both of these terms inside the set of parentheses. So let's go ahead and do that. We've got 13 and then negative 1 times 3x, it gives us negative 3x. And then negative 1 times negative 5 gives us positive 5. All right, so now we do have two like terms that we can combine, that 13 and plus 5. So that's going to give us 18 minus 3x equals 21. All right, we're going to get rid of that 18 by subtracting 18. Again, don't let this negative fool you or this minus sign fool you. The 18 is positive, so we're going to subtract 18 in order to cancel it out. And then that's going to leave us with negative 3x equals, and then 21 minus 18, which should give us 3. All right, and then we're going to do our last step, dividing by negative 3, dividing by negative 3. So x equals negative 1. Okay, and then, of course, I do want to check our work. I went ahead and substituted in that negative 1 for our x in our original equation. You can pause the video, check out my work here, but we did get the same answer on each side. So negative 1 is the correct solution for this equation. Thanks so much for watching this video on equations with distributive property. Please check out my other videos. I'm going to put a link in the description below to my pre-algebra series. This is part of my pre-algebra series where I have a ton of videos on all different pre-algebra skills that you might see in a typical class. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. That really does help me out, and I'll see you next time.